Good afternoon and welcome. It is the first day of February and a chilly one. Tomorrow is Groundhog Day, and if Shubenacadie Sam dares to poke his nose out into the frigid air, we will know how much longer winter will be with us. Today is St. Bridget's Day, the other Irish saint, along with Patrick, a holiday in Ireland, and the day in which St. Bridget's crosses are woven, but more on that later. Last Sunday, we had a lovely 10 a.m. service, one of several times throughout the year when we will gather our wider cathedral community together for worship and some fellowship time. This week, we return to our scheduled services of 9:30 and 11. The 9:30 includes our Sunday school programming. The 11 o'clock service is recorded and uploaded to Facebook and YouTube. You can also join us weekdays at 7:30 a.m., Wednesdays for service of Eucharist, and noon on Wednesdays, a meditation group, which will now be meeting in St. Stephen's Chapel here within the cathedral, a slightly quieter and more intimate space. Fridays at noon, a Eucharist from the Book of Common Prayer here in the cathedral. Online, you'll find offerings of morning prayer uploaded to YouTube at 6:30 a.m. for viewing anytime thereafter, and an online meditation group meets on Thursday evenings at 6:30 p.m. You can connect with that group by sending an email to prayasYouCan3@gmail.com. This month of February will also see the return of the Sundays at 4 series, which features either a choral evensong or a concert event. As soon as that schedule is available, we will share it with you. A number of things to highlight today. First, a reminder of a questionnaire survey that is underway. To those who subscribe to our email happenings, you'll have received the survey in an email, and you can reply the same way. We also have printed copies available here in the cathedral, and these can be returned to the cathedral or mailed into the office. We're hoping that this survey will help identify your needs and concerns and also update our parish information. On February 21st, for the first time in 3 years, we will host a Shrove Tuesday pancake supper. We're looking for some help in making baked beans and gingerbread. We have sign-up sheets here at the cathedral, or feel free to email Jillian, our engagement leader, and you'll find her contact information on our website. We also have recipes available for those who need a helping hand. This is Interfaith Harmony Week here in Halifax. The World Interfaith Harmony Week was first proposed at the UN General Assembly September 23rd of 2010 by King Abdullah II of Jordan. Just under a month later, on October 20th, 2010, it was unanimously adopted by the UN, and henceforth the first week of February is observed as World Interfaith Harmony Week. The World Interfaith Harmony Week is based on the pioneering work of the Common Word Initiative. This initiative, which started in 2007, called for Muslim and Christian leaders to engage in dialogue based on their two common fundamental religious commandments: to love God and love neighbor. Interfaith Harmony Week is organized by a committee here in the city, and they identify and schedule participants on an annual basis. I've been unable to find the schedule on their website, but they have a Facebook page listing both their online programs and their in-person days and locations. I will put that link in the dialogue box under today's video. Today's schedule in Interfaith Harmony Week includes the Shambhala Center at 1084 Tower Road. They'll be open from 2 to 3 p.m. and Beth Israel Synagogue on Oxford Street, which will be open from 7 to 8:30. Tomorrow from 12 to 1, the Atlantic School of Theology will have an open house connected with Interfaith Harmony Week. Again, please follow the link to Facebook to find the full schedule. The Diocese of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island is pleased to be offering their 5th Connectors program. The goal of this program is to bring people together from across our diocese to engage in peer learning and activities to grow one's faith and assist in the growth of one's faith community. You can find more information on the diocesan website or send me an email if you may be interested. February also marks African Heritage Month. This year, the theme is Seas of Struggle, African Peoples from Shore to Shore, recognizing the resiliency, strength, and determination of people of African descent from the shores of Africa to the shores of Nova Scotia, with the Atlantic Ocean being the everlasting connection. The theme this year highlights the role the sea has played in the long-standing history of people of African descent and African Nova Scotians. This year's theme also aligns with the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent. The goal is to strengthen global cooperation in support of people of African descent, increase awareness, and recognize their full and equal participation in society. Nova Scotia has 52 historic African Nova Scotia communities with a long, deep, and complex history dating back over 200 years. African Heritage Month provides us with another opportunity to celebrate our culture, legacy, achievements, and contributions of our people past and present. The first day of February is also significant in this regard, as it was on this day, February 1st, 1960, in Greensboro, North Carolina, that 4 black college students sparked a nationwide civil rights movement by refusing to leave a whites-only lunch counter at a popular Woolworth store after they were denied service. The students, Ezell Blair Jr., Franklin McCain, Joseph McNeil, and David Richmond, became known as the Greensboro Four. These students sat at the Woolworth counter until the store closed, promising they would be back the next day. By the end of the first week, some 200 people protested at the store. The demonstration in Greensboro continued for 6 months until Woolworths finally gave in and integrated their lunch counter. And also on February 1st, 1978, Harriet Tubman, an anti-slavery crusader and Civil War veteran, became the first African-American woman to appear on a U.S. postage stamp. And February 1st is also the birthday of the great black American poet Langston Hughes, born this day in 1901. I mentioned at the outset that today is St. Bridget or St. Bridget's Day. It is a national holiday in Ireland. Originally observed on the day, it is now celebrated on the closest Monday. Church historian James Kiefer writes, Bridget of Kildare was born around 450 into a Druid family, being the daughter of Dubnach, court poet to King Loghaire. At an early age, she decided to become a Christian and eventually took vows as a nun. Together with a group of other women, she established a religious community at Kildare. She was later joined by a community of monks led by Conlad. Kildare had formerly been a pagan Druid shrine where a sacred fire was kept perpetually burning, and Bridget and her nuns, instead of stamping out the fire, kept it going but gave it a Christian interpretation. This is in keeping with the general process whereby Druidism in Ireland gave way to Christianity with very little opposition, as the Druids, for the most part, saw their own beliefs as partial and tentative insights into the nature of God. In Christianity, they recognized the additional pieces they were looking for. Bridget, as an abbess, participated in several Irish councils, and her influence on the policies of the Church in Ireland were considerable. Many stories of her younger days deal with her generosity toward the needy. As she grew older, Bridget was said to have worked miracles, including healing, feeding the poor. According to one tale, as a child, she once gave away her mother's entire store of butter. The butter was then replenished in answer to Bridget's prayers. She is a patroness saint of Ireland and one of its 3 national saints, as well as the saint of healers, poets, blacksmiths, livestock, and dairy workers, among others. Wikipedia notes in her honor, a perpetual fire was kept burning at Kildare for centuries. Bridget's crosses are traditionally made on this her feast day. These are 3 or 4 armed crosses woven out of rushes. These are hung over doorways or windows for protection against fire, lightning, illness, and evil spirits. In addition to the shamrock and Celtic harp, Bridget's cross is a national symbol of Ireland. On St. Bridget's Eve, Bridget was said to visit virtuous households and bless their inhabitants. People left items of clothing or strips of cloth outside overnight for Bridget to bless. In Ireland and parts of Scotland, a doll representing Bridget would be paraded around the community by girls and young women known as the Little Brigid or Biddy. Today's poem is one that speaks of St. Bridget and her extraordinary sense of charity. The poem is titled The Giveaway, and it was written by the children's author and poet Phyllis McGinley. The Giveaway. St. Bridget was a problem child, although alas, demure and mild, and one who strove to please her dad. St. Bridget drove the family mad. For here's the fault in Bridget lay, she would give everything away. To any soul whose luck was out, she'd give her bowl of stirabout. She'd give her shawl, divide her purse with one or all. And what was worth, when she ran out of things to give, she'd borrow from a relative. Her father's gold, her grandshire's dinner, she'd hand to cold and hungry sinner. Give wine, give meat, no matter whose, take from her feet her very shoes. And when her shoes had gone to others, fetch forth her sisters or her mothers. She could not quit, she had to share, gave bit by bit the silverware, the barnyard geese, the parlor rug, her little niece's christening mug, even her bed to those in want, and then the mattress of her aunt. An easy touch for poor and lowly, she gave so much and grew so holy, that when she died of years and fame, the countryside put on her name, and still the Isle of Arran fidget with generous girls named Bride or Bridget. Well, one must love her none the less in thinking of her givingness. There's no denial she must have been a sort of trial unto her kin. The moral, too, seems rather quaint, who had the patience of a saint. From evidence presented here, St. Bridget, or her near and dear. For a song nothing Irish, but a song that came to mind a week or so ago, written by the Nova Scotia music artist and rapper Lucas Boyd from Enfield, who performs under the name Classified. In July of last year, he released a new album called Retrospected, and one of the songs features another Canadian singer, Jan Arden. Now, I know rap isn't everyone's go-to style of music, but give this one a listen. It's called Good News by Classified with Jan Arden. Again, in the context of the times, the opening lines read, I've been waiting for some good news, for the clouds to part and the light shine through. I want to wake up to a better tomorrow, 'cause I've had enough. Where is the trust? Where is the truth? It's about time for some good news. So look for that song, Classified and Jan Arden, and the song Good News. And for a prayer, here is one from a recently acquired book of poems from the pen of Stanley Horace, who taught at and opened his classes at Duke University every day with prayer. This one seemed to fit with the story of Bridget and our own struggles to let go and trust God. Let us pray. Lord Almighty, we say we want to serve you. We say we want to help others less fortunate than ourselves. We say we want justice. But the truth is we want power and status because we so desperately need to be loved. Free us from our self-fascination and the anxious activity it breeds, so that we might be what we say we want to be, loved by you, and thus capable of unselfish service. Amen. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care, especially in these cold days ahead of us, and keep in touch. And until we meet again, may God bless you.